Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of MURG Mayhem, where one take can cause mayhem. We have lots of stuff to go into, especially about the NBA Finals that's been going on. We're also going to be talking about MLB as far as who I think is going to be the MVP favorite from both leagues and Rookies of the Year, because the National League has so many good rookies that have come in either from the farm system from these teams, or they've been just on the MLB roster as soon as day one. So, and then we're going to talk about a potential movie, Inside Out, and other things to that nature. So we're just going to get it right into the NBA Finals. If you haven't watched the NBA Finals, I don't know who you're rooting for. A lot of people were thinking that the Mavericks are going to win this in 7. And a lot of people think that they thought they were going to be Mavs in 6, Boston in 7, and Boston in 6. So it was basically a split decision. I read an article that on ESPN, there were like 17 people that voted. 9 people said Mavericks, and 8 people said Boston. So I've been watching the playoffs, and Boston, like I said in one of the last episodes, I feel like they have had no path is easy to the finals. It's just not. But as far as the other teams in the past several years that have gone to the finals, I feel like this is one of the easier paths that we've seen, especially with this team with the Boston Celtics. Basically zero weaknesses. Porzingis didn't even play, and it was just everyone was getting outmatched by everybody. And so, game one, it's going to be game 1, game 2 recap, just about the same time. Game 1, Boston ended up just blowing them out. It was close at halftime. In a way, I mean, it was, I think, about maybe 14. It wasn't good. Luka, with him dealing with all these injuries on his road to get here, playing against Kawhi, Paul George, and James Harden with the Clippers, and then going to the OKC with Shea and Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, and the other Jalen Williams, and Josh Giddey, and then Isaiah Joe, and then you go to Minnesota with Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, and Rudy Gobert. Even though that series wasn't as good as I hoped for it to be, but I mean, they just played well. Coming into the series, I'm thinking they have momentum. They should have momentum because they, just won, and everybody was clicking. PJ Washington was shooting. Derrick Jones Jr. was shooting. Kyrie was scoring. Gafford and Lively were having good momentum coming off the bench and subbing in for one another. And their defense was pretty solid. With Boston, it's like, going into the series, I'm like, how is Boston defensively going to handle Kyrie and Luka? Because Kyrie and Luka were both scoring at least 20 to 30 points a night, and PJ Washington, Derrick Jones Jr. were shooting good from the 3-point line. So, and they were both playing good defense. So going into it, I'm like, Boston has to figure out if they're going to double team Kyrie or Luka. They have to choose which one. If Luka does a pick and roll, do they double team it, have Gafford or Lively be a playmaker, even though that's really not their job and their duty, or do you just go one-on-one? With Dallas, is like, their test was defense. How are they going to defend when when their two best defenders, PJ Washington and Jones, are going to be on their two best players? And is Kyrie going to be on Derek White or Jrue Holiday, and who is Luka going to guard with? And then going into the series, I'm like, well, who's going to guard Porzingis? So Gafford's going to be guarding him. But game 1, none of that really happened. Horford was the game 1 starter, which was a shock to me because Porzingis was available to go, but I mean, Missoula was like, everyone, we've had momentum. We don't want to break any of that, and Horford did fantastic. 10 points, 30 minutes, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks. He's shown basically his whole career that he's a guy that will do whatever it takes to win. And then Porzingis coming off the bench, giving you 20. Basically, he and Jaylen Brown carried the Celtics in that game. And, Porzingis, he would always get the pick and roll with, and then he'd get a guard on him, Josh Green or Derrick Jones Jr. or just somebody smaller, and he would just shoot over him. And he had he had some pretty clutch blocks late in the first half, and just him being able, just his presence altering shots with the Mavericks going into the paint when they were on offense really helped out them, Boston's defensively. But Kyrie, game 1, had some good open looks, just wasn't able to make them. Luka was sensational, 12 of 26. Didn't shoot the 3-ball well, but triple double, 30, 10 and 10, 2 steals, and he missed a few free throws, but in game 1 there was no way that the Mavericks were going to win. If we, looking at the team statistics here, they shot the ball terribly, which I'm thinking that's okay. Game 2 they're going to come back and get it. They got out rebounded, and the thing with Dallas in both games is that when they turn the ball over, Boston is capitalizing on their turnovers. Boston in game 1 had 18 points off of Dallas turnovers, 10 of them coming from fast breaks. But I mean, the largest lead of the game was 29, and the game just was not close. And I'm thinking, okay, game 2, let's see what happens in game 2, right? So in game 2 it was, Luka in the first quarter was on fire. It was hard. It was hard for him to be stopped in the first quarter. I mean, I can't even tell you how many points he had in the first quarter. I think he had maybe 4. I think he had maybe 14 to 17 points in the first quarter. He was rolling. He was hot. And then, Kyrie, again, shot maybe one shot better. In this game, he went 7 of 18 with 16 points. The other game, he had 12. PJ Washington, Derrick Jones have been struggling, trying to find their rhythm from the 3. PJ Washington and Derrick Jones Jr., especially PJ Washington, his money shot has been in the corner, the corner 3, and Boston has been doing a fantastic job of limiting those threes. And PJ Washington's been taking a little bit more wing threes, but even when their shots not falling, they can't. When you watch them try to create offense for themselves, it does not look good. It doesn't go anywhere. When there was one pass, I think it was in game 2. Luka threw a pass to Lively on a fast break. He tried to catch it with one hand, and then he just he wasn't able to catch it with 2 or anything like that, and it goes out of bounds. Both bigs are struggling with guarding Horford and guarding Porzingis because of their ability to make outside perimeter shots, and plus some of them are getting in foul trouble really early. Also, Max Kleba, I know that he's getting a lot of hate from Stephen A. Smith. Honestly, he's trying to work back into basketball shape still. He came back in Minnesota, and I think he came back in OKC in Minnesota, whichever playoff series. But in one of the series when he came back, he was still trying to figure out how to shoot again, or at least get back into the familiarity and the muscle memory of shooting, because of he separated that shoulder. And I really don't think that's fair to him, even though he did have some wide open looks, which does suck if you have wide open looks and you're not able to make it. But he's trying his best. He did get 4 fouls, so he wasn't really in there a lot. Dante Exum, played well for the time that he did have. And, Jalen Hardy, 2 minutes in this game, and then in game 1, he had 13 points off the bench, 4 of 8. And I don't know. I mean, again in this game, 21 points off of Dallas turnovers that Boston was able to convert. Also in this game specifically, Drew Holiday was a menace on the offensive end. He's always a menace on the defensive side of the ball. We do know that. But he had 11 rebounds as well. So he out-rebounded basically the bigs from... Yeah, the bigs combined, he matched them in rebounds. Well, not quite. They had them two both had 16, but basically them two combined had 5 more rebounds than Drew Holiday. And I get that sometimes the ball doesn't get when the ball does bounce, it just bounces in the other way. But he made it known that he was going to do anything that he could to win the game for him, and he blocked a shot, got a steal, out rebounded at least both bigs just by themselves. Jaylen Brown with another 20-point game. Jason Tatum still struggling from the field, but he had 18 points, 12 assists, and 9 rebounds. I mean, this team has 0 flaws. Derek White shot the ball well from 3, and Porzingis had that rough fall. So hopefully he comes back in game 3. It looked, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of nervous for Porzingis if he comes back game 3. I feel like he should come back at least maybe game 4, game 5. I would probably hold him out just this one game because they can afford to let him rest a game, I feel like. But they are going into Dallas, so I'm not really sure what Missoula is going to do there. But I mean, Porzingis, I feel like if they do win, I mean, it's good. It's between at this rate, it's between Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, and Porzingis. I know unless Jason Tatum just scores 40 the next several games, I mean, I don't know who's going to win the MVP for Boston. Obviously, with Dallas, it's going to be Luka. We know that, but Porzingis, game 1, 20. This in game 2, 12 points, 2 blocks, 4 rebounds. 7 foot. They can't stop him on the offensive end. He's playing really great defense. And then with Drew Holiday guarding, being able to switch out on Luka, Kyrie, anybody, Jaylen Brown, the exact same, being able to steal the ball from Luka and then turning it into a points off turnovers for a dunk on the fast break. I mean, this team has probably been the most solid finals team we have probably ever seen, as far as a starting 5 is concerned. I know the Warriors, the 2017 Warriors going 73-9. You have obviously the Bulls. Whichever San Antonio team as far as that dynasty. But I mean, this Boston Celtics team, not only can they defend, they can shoot the 3. They have guys that complement each other well. I mean, Horford has been able to shoot the 3, shoot the mid-range, play defense, being able to switch out on guards if he has to. Drew Holiday being able to play 1 through 4 because the power forward isn't really 6'10" anymore. It's basically about 6'7" to 6'9" right now. Derek White being able to just catch and shoot 3, and then if he has to, he can score 30. Jaylen Brown being able to be that combo guard, driving right, driving left. I mean, he's still pretty bad, but they can't stop him going right. Jason Tatum, I mean, he's not having the best series right now, but he draws so much attention to himself regardless of if he's playing well or not, to just out 12 assists. And then off the bench, I mean, if Porzingis is coming off the bench, scoring 12 to 20 points, 7-3, can shoot the three, play defense. Sam Hauser wasn't able to make a basket, but he's a guy that you got to watch out for because he can shoot the three. Peyton Pritchard, underrated guard for Boston. He had that one buzzer beater at the end of the half. It's just their bench production. I mean, Porzingis is a starter, but the Dallas bench is the biggest question mark for me. For me, they have to play Tim Hardaway Jr. I know that he hasn't had the best postseason. Like the numbers, you can obviously see it, but Dallas needs a certified bucket getter now. Dallas needs some instant offense because Max Kleber went 0 for 4. Josh Green, he's a guy that shoots the corner three well. And then, he had some wing threes that just were not close. He went 0 for 3, and that's about it. Game 1, as far as the Mavericks bench, basically the same thing. They played Tim Hardaway 8 minutes, and he had 2 shots. And it was in the third quarter while they were getting blown out. I don't understand why you just put him in there for 8 minutes. Just let him, Max Kleber played 19, had negative 15 plus or minus. I'm not really a plus minus guy, but I mean, defensively, he's a liability right now. Lively, I mean, 5 fouls. Their bigs can't really make offense for themselves. And the guys that they do put in, Jalen Hardy, who I don't think he should be getting minutes, at least more minutes than Hardaway Jr. is. But I don't know. Dallas's worry is they're making me worried. Game 2, Mavericks should have won this game. I mean, they only lost by 7, but they missed 8 free throws. And if they made 8 free throws and everything else went the exact same, they would have won the game by 1 point, obviously. They keep winning the points in the paint battle. As far as rebounds, they out-rebounded the Celtics in this game. And as far as offensive rebounds, Celtics had 10. And they only got one more than Dallas, but when they got offensive rebounds, it seemed like they wanted to get the offensive rebound, and most of the time, the Dallas Mavericks weren't really boxing out anybody. But free throws, they got to make the free throws. I know Luka missed a few in a row. He missed 4. I know the first foul he had, he missed the first 2, and then he missed 2 more. But obviously, this comes down to Kyrie. Hopefully, going back to Dallas, he finds a way to kickstart this. He's in game 2 specifically. And especially in the first half, he had some good looks at the basket. It's just it's like he can make those shots. We've seen him do it plenty of times, and with LeBron and postseason with Boston and Brooklyn, and they're just not falling right now. And people say, oh, he hasn't shown up. I mean, he's showing up. It's just the ball's just not going in. He's just on a dry spell right now, and hopefully when he does come home in Dallas, that they are able to find a way to get him going, and then when he comes back to Boston, he'll be able to, be the regular Kyrie that we saw in the Western Conference Finals against Minnesota. But yeah, I mean, they play tomorrow night at 7:30 on ABC in Dallas. If Dallas does not win again and loses in Game 3, I think it's just going to be an easy sweep. Unfortunately, I mean I think Boston might give them a game and then come back home and win it at home. But the way that Dallas is playing, it's very, very worrisome, and their it just comes down to role players and Kyrie Irving for Dallas, because the role players that the Celtics have, and when I say role players, Derek White and Drew Holiday, I wouldn't like. They're essentially, in a way, role players for this team, because you have the two stars, and Drew Holiday is, this year in the regular season, he scored about 12.5 points per game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. But when he was in Milwaukee, he was scoring 20. So he's doing role player offensive numbers, and then Derek White is 15 points a game, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Those two guys, if they were on this team, they'd be starters for every other team in the NBA. Horford, same exact thing. He'd be starting for somebody right now. And I mean, if Boston wins, I will be extremely happy for Porzingis getting a ring and Al Horford, because Al Horford has been in the league for about 14 to 16 years, and he's gone to plenty of All-Star games, plenty of postseason. It's just, he played in the East with the Atlanta Hawks trying to get past LeBron James. And we definitely know, as far as the East, how hard it is to even get to the playoffs. And if you had to go through LeBron, I mean, it's, that's who he had to go through, But yeah, it just comes down to role players and Kyrie Irving for Dallas. That's all I got to say about this series. And, comment down below what you saw in the series, what you're seeing, what adjustments could be made, and who should play. I do strongly think that Tim Hardaway Jr. should play. Maybe put Markieff Morris in there a little bit. Who knows? I do know that Tim Hardaway has to play and try to get some something going offensively for the Dallas Mavericks. But yeah, that's all for NBA. As far as the AL MVP and NL MVP for baseball, it's getting to around the halfway point of the season. Next week, the next month, I think July 8th through the 12th or 13th or so. That's typically when All-Star Weekend is. They might push it back to maybe the 13th, 14th. I'm not really sure. Baseball kind of changes every year. But it's almost to the halfway point, and there's so many guys for the NL MVP side, but for the AL, it's basically like maybe 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 guys. 4 of the 6 play on the exact same team. Basically, 4 of them. Two pairs of 2 that play on the same team. And they're basically the Yankees, and just making sure the All-Star game is July 12th. So basically, we're a month away from halfway to the season. So with the AL MVP, there's 6 guys I feel like that should qualify for this award. Obviously, we have Juan Soto. These are just his numbers right here, so you can pause if you want to look at these numbers. As far as his impact on the Yankees, he's the reason why that they are first in the AL East. There's no doubt about it. He is the best left-handed hitter in baseball right now. The only other person is Shohei Ohtani, and those 2 guys and any other lefty underneath them is just not even close. I know Freddie Freeman is up there, but and maybe Luis Arias as far as an average and hitting aspect, just putting down the ball. But Juan Soto is the entire package. He's what you want, and it doesn't matter left, right, switch hitter. This guy is one of the best players that we have ever seen. Doesn't matter what era, he can play in any era, and if it's just mind-boggling what he's able to do. He's got he's got 21 or 20 to 21 multi-homer games, and that's third most by a guy that's younger than 26. And you know what he's able to do in a short time frame. I mean, he's rivaling Mickey Mantle and Ted Williams in basically almost every category. Average, home runs, RBIs, on base percentage. I think he's tied for, he's got like the third most, tied for the third longest like streak of having 400 on base percentage. Like in 2022, his on base percentage was 401, and that was between Washington and San Diego. And that was when he was with Washington, he was an all-star. And then when he went to San Diego, it was kind of a bumpy, a rough start. And then 2023, he didn't really play his best. And now he's back to what he once was. 2023, he came back a little bit, had a good first half, all-star. And now he's with the Yankees and arguably one of the best players in the American League, if not the best player. He's hitting 318 right now, 50 runs, 53 RBIs, OPS over 1,000, on base 425, 17 homers. It's just unbelievable what he's able to do. Plus, he's playing good defense. He's not really a good defender, but he's playing exceptional defense in Yankee Stadium in right field. And he hits, I think he hits second after Volpe. And I mean, that 1-2-3 Volpe, Soto and Judge is the other guy. I mean, he's hitting 305, 24 bombs, 59 RBIs. His on-base percentage is 436, slugging 703, OPS over 1,000 with Soto. One of the other episodes that I had, he had there's only like two. The last time the Yankees did this, having two guys lead in OPS, was in 1931 with Joe DiMaggio and I think Lou Gehrig. In that year, they won the World Series, I believe. And if they didn't win it, it's still a pretty heck of a year, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, this guy, he was injured and then he comes back and he had like a slow start to the season as well. And now he's finding his groove. I mean, last year he hit 267. He was injured and he still hit 37 homers and driven in 75. Year before, 2022, like he had, hit the AL home run record was 62, 131 RBIs, which is absolutely nuts. He led the league in walks, was over 111. I mean, this guy is something really, really special, and he's 32 right now. He signed an extension in 2023, 9-year, 360. So he's going to be playing in Yankee Stadium until he's 40. Hopefully his body holds up. But I mean, this guy, them to have a chance to bring a World Series to New York. The one thing that they do need is Garrett Cole to get healthy in a good rotation. And this year, the Yankees with Luis Gil, Carlos Rodon, Nestor Cortez, and some guys. I think Cody Poteet. He's been pitching fairly well, but they just need guys that can just, obviously not give up any home runs, but just pitch, get ground balls, make defense work, just traditional standard pitching stuff. But yeah, them two, and these other guys are also on the same team in the exact same division. Gunnar Henderson, last year he won the Rookie of the Year at 21 years old. This year he's 22.
Well, no fucking shit.
And he is rivaling all shortstops. He's probably, as of now, arguably the best shortstop in the game right now. I know Mookie Betts. I don't really count Mookie Betts as a shortstop, even though that's where he's played most of this year at short. But I mean, this guy, as far as home runs, I think he's like second in home runs right now with 24 or 21. Judge has 24. But I mean, this guy, as at a young age like this, being shortstop with the Baltimore Orioles, being second in the wild card chase. I mean, they're going to be in the wild card because unless something bad happens to the Orioles and they just can't hit a baseball when they come back from All-Star break, this guy has a chance to be MVP. Do I think he's going to win it? No, because of Judge and Soto and one other guy that's on this list. But I mean, he's playing really, really good defense right now. And he's hitting the ball. Right now he's according to Baseball Reference, 4 defensive run saves, and he's basically 4 outs above average defensively, or 4 runs above average. And I mean, he's OPS 974. I think he's also third in OPS as well, or at least in the top 5. He's fourth, and he's 22 years old, and everybody else is 25 or older. But I mean, yeah, Gunnar Henderson. The other guy on his team is Adley Rutschman. Adley Rutschman is one of the best catchers, if not the best catcher in the entire league. Switch hitter, plays pretty good defense as well. He is 4 defensive runs above average as well. Just to let you know, Baseball Reference says that defensive runs saved above average is the number of runs above average or below average the player was worth based on the number of plays made. So that's also put out. It's different for every position, but yeah, I mean, this guy, switch hitter, hitting over 300, 13 homers last year. He's only been in the league for 3 years because I feel like they should have brought him up much faster, but they took their time, unlike Jackson Holiday. They took their time with this guy. 254 his rookie year. Last year, he hit 277, 20 home runs, 31 doubles, 80 RBIs. And as a catcher, hitting 20 or more home runs is absolutely insane. This year, and like his average is going up. He's 13 homers. That's how many home runs he had his rookie year. And we're not even halfway through the season, and he's at 13 homers, 49 RBIs. I mean, he's going to be a monster for sure for the next 10 years. As far as being a catcher, I don't think he's going to be a catcher for 10 more years. I feel like he's going to be a Salvador Perez type, either play first base or he will just DH. But Baltimore has so much talent in their farm system to where the next several years they have a chance to be a force to be reckoned with this division. And hopefully Corbin Burns stays this long and pitches with the Royals, because if he stays there, I mean, it's going to be hard not to root for this team. But the third guy that I think is going to win the MVP is Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez has been a guy that has been snubbed of the MVP for the last 5 years. Arguably 5 years. 4 years, sorry. I feel like he should have won it. I mean, you could make an argument that he should have won it in 2020, but Jose Abreu also had a really good year in the COVID season bubble. But but you could have said it for 2022. He had 126 RBIs, 29 bombs, OPS 869, 280 average. Last year, basically almost the exact same numbers, except he didn't hit as far as power as much. He had 24 homers, 80 RBIs, but this guy has 62 RBIs and it's not even halfway through the season yet, and he has a chance to get 120 again. Switch hitter. Defensively, he's kind of regressed in the past several years, but what he is able to do offensively with his bat, that's why he's in the lineup. He controls his zone. He's only 5'9", so he's not that big, but he swings with a lot of power. 5-time All-Star, and it's been he's probably gonna be another All-Star again. He's getting my vote for the American League. There's just nobody better than him at the position. He's the best third baseman, in my opinion, in the American League. 275, almost 20 home runs, 62 RBIs. How he's able to manipulate the zone, like I said, being that stature, and with a team with the Cleveland Indians, who's going to be a playoff team because they're winning their division. But I mean, he's leading his team in basically almost every category, just about. And yeah, I mean, there's not enough words to describe Jose Ramirez and what he's able to do to contribute to his team. I mean, there's enough said, really. And then the last guy for MVP is Bobby Witt Jr. Bobby Witt Jr., since I think last year was his rookie year. No, 2022 was his rookie year. Decent rookie year, 254, batting average, OPS 720, basically an average guy, And then last year took a pretty big leap. Last year he put everyone on notice for basically I'm here. Last year 276, OPS 813, 49 stolen bases, 30 homers, and 96 RBIs. He led the league in triples. Dude is fast. He's one of the fastest players as far as sprint speed. Obviously, we know that he can steal bases. I think Ruiz for Oakland had the most stolen bases in the American League, while obviously last year Acuna led the league with like 70-something stolen bases. It was crazy. But this guy, 7th in MVP in 2023. And as far as defense, as far as defensive run saves, last year is -6, so it's not too great. But this year, he's got 4. Hopefully, I'm reading this stat right, because I hope that if it's -6, if that is good for him. I might be reading this wrong, but yeah, basically this guy is going to be here for a long, long time. He's 23, basically debuted at age 20 or 22. I have it right in front of me. I still can't read it, but I mean, yeah, this guy is helping this Royals team they're in the wild card spot as of right now. The Royals have exceeded my expectations. And what's crazy that we're going to bring up Rookie of the Year as well after these MVPs. But I mean, that AL Central and the NL Central right now is up for grabs basically, for those wild card spots. And it's insane how Bobby Witt is being able to lead his team to a potential playoff berth. And I think it's been a while. I think it's been since maybe 2013, 2014 since they've been to the playoffs. Kansas City has maybe 2015, 2016, but it's Kansas City. Watch out, because y'all are going to be good for the next 5 years, hopefully, God willing. But yeah, as far as AL MVP, that's about it. NL MVP is basically you have 1, 2, 3 guys that are not Dodgers on this list. Marcell Ozuna is number 1. Marcell Ozuna has been, as soon as the season started, mashed in the ball. He's defensive, designated hitter. Now that's his niche. Now he's 33, and if he is a DH, he can basically hit till he's about for the next 10 years. This guy has been the league leader in homers for the National League with 18, 55 RBIs, 312 batting average, OPS almost 1,000 with 987, slugging 603, on base 385. And when Acuna was playing, you cannot stop this offense with Acuna leading off, Albies at the 2, Riley at the 3, Olsen at the 4, Ozuna at the 5, and then you have Arcia, Harris, Kelnick, and Sean Murphy or Travis d'Arnaud. Basically, the first 7 guys, you have to figure out how you're going to pitch. To be honest, Sean Murphy is also a really great hitter, but he's a catcher, so most of the time we don't really expect a lot of catchers to be able to do a lot offensively. But basically, you have 7 to 8 guys you have to pitch to, and then that 9th guy is kind of like, well, hopefully I'm probably going to get a fastball. I mean, you're working hard for the first 8 guys. Let me get a fastball and take a rip on it. But yeah, I mean, Marcell Ozuna has been one of the clear-cut MVPs in the National League since the start of the year. And hopefully he still continues this because if he does, I feel like he should win the MVP. The only 3 other guys that have a potential, I don't know. To be honest, this NL MVP race is a toss-up, to be honest with you. In the AL, it's probably going to be Soto, Judge, or J-Ram. It's been like that for the past 3 years in the American League, except for Soto being National League, of course. But this year, it's been Soto, Judge, or J-Ram, my opinion. And National League is Marcell Ozuna. And this next one is obviously Shohei Ohtani. Shohei, since joining the Dodgers, has pushed the Dodgers to be the number 1 seed in the NL West. Shocker. But this offense, when you look down the lineup, at one point they had like 10 guys with an OPS over 800. Or like at 8 to 10 guys over 800. I knew it was at least 8, but you have Mookie Betts leading off, Shohei at the 2, Freeman 3rd, Smith 4, Max Muncy 5, Pages 6, Gavin Lux 7th to 9th, and you had Jason Hayward in there every once in a while, center field, James Outman. Like, there's just, and then you have Austin Barnes coming off the bench, Kike Hernandez, Oscar Hernandez, like, so many guys that can just contribute for this team. And even if they don't really play a whole lot, they can contribute, whether it's small ball, defense, maybe they come up big in a certain at-bat. But Shohei, 15 homers, 310 average, OPS 947, 41 RBIs, 14 stolen bases as well. I mean, 80 hits. I mean, he's not even pitching, and he's he's one of the best players in the league. And this is the first year in the National League. 15 home runs. I mean, he's having, like, as far as power, it's kind of up and down, and at times, I mean, he'll go on a stretch where he hits a few home runs in about a week, but I mean, I'm not really worried about it. I mean, he's going to be he's going to go to the postseason, and it's going to be for his first year going to the postseason, and hopefully he doesn't get too nervous and too gibberish when he does go to the playoffs this year. And then the next guy is on the same team, Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts has played second and shortstop primarily this year, and he's hitting 309, 9 stolen bases, OPS 914, 10 homers, 81 hits, 37 RBIs. I mean, he's, as far as being a shortstop, he has been doing much better than I thought he would be. And, I still kind of prefer him being in the outfield, but I mean, he's able to, if he's doing good at shortstop, let him be at short. And, I kind of prefer him if he is playing infield, play second base, but he's he's doing pretty good. Two run DRS and -1 on when he plays second. But I mean, Mookie Betts is Mookie Betts. Ohtani is Ohtani. I mean, when you just watch them play, they it's just crazy what they're able to do. The talent that they have, not a lot of people can do what he can do. And it's just crazy, and just basically we have to cherish every time we see these guys on the field. Another guy who I think could also win the MVP if he does get hot is the phenom Bryce Harper. I mean, he came off London, game 1, just crazy numbers. He's been rolling as of late. 15 homers, 45 RBIs, 920 OPS. Like, basically, he's on the second best team in the National League, according to just record, in the Philadelphia Phillies. They are playing Boston tonight as of Tuesday, June 11th, as this is being recorded. Playing Boston right now. Schwarber has 2 leadoff tanks as of now, or not 2 leadoff, but 2 home runs as of now, and he's playing first base, his first year at first base. Trying to prolong his arm and trying to save him so he can play a lot longer. And he's a +3 DRS, which in the description I'll say if plus or minus is good. But as far as his power numbers, he hit 15. I expect him to hit at least 30, and I expect Mookie Betts and Shohei Ohtani to also hit 30. Shohei, I feel like, is going to get it. Mookie Betts, I feel like he's going to hit 25 to 30, but 20 for sure. But Bryce Harper going to be going to the playoffs as of now, if the season ended today. And I mean, they have one guy, Whit Merrifield, who doesn't even play a lot. Basically, he plays second base if Bryson Stott plays shortstop. Like, Phillies are just loaded. They're loaded. Merrifield could also play in the outfield if they need him to, but I mean, Merrifield just needs to play meaningful baseball and get past the first round of the playoffs. These two guys that I'm about to mention, Freddie Freeman has a chance to get into the conversation. I always say Freddie Freeman has a chance to be MVP just because he's hitting 290 right now, 71 hits, 40 RBIs, OPS of 878. Power numbers aren't there right now. He's got 8 home runs. At times, sometimes he'll hit 300 when he starts off, and then sometimes he'll hit 290, and he'll have a crazy second half stretch where he'll finish with like 316 or 320. Last year it was a slow start for him, and he ended up finishing with a 331 average. He led the league in doubles with 59. I think he tied the record. I feel like he needed one more to break it. He had 29 homers, driven in 100. I mean, Shohei, Mookie, Bryce, Freddie Freeman, those four guys I just mentioned are going to be in Cooperstown when they retire, when they will be eligible for the Hall of Fame. And I mean, Freddie Freeman already has a World Series MVP, 7-time All-Star, Gold Glove. That's it. I feel like he's going to pick it up in the second half of the season, and hopefully he'll finish this year with 300 because his career average is 301. So hopefully he can hold that average for his career. The other guy who also plays for the Dodgers is Teoscar Hernandez, and the only reason why I have him in the MVP conversation is because the Dodgers just recently played the Yankees, and this guy helped them win 2 of the 3 games. This guy this year has just helped the Dodgers win baseball games. He's not the best defender in the world. He's made some pretty good plays, but he's not known for his defense. He's known for his hitting. If there's a lefty on the mound, get that phone ready because he's about to destroy that left-handed arm. Doesn't matter what he's throwing, he's gonna destroy it. 266 batting average. Everybody else has a higher batting average than him, but he has 48 RBIs, 16 home runs, 68 hits. As far as the numbers on where he's at, 16 home runs is second most homers in the National League. RBIs, Teoscar Hernandez is 48, so he's third, and OPS 849, and he's 7th. And Freddie Freeman is on top of him. Then there's Mookie Betts and so like the top 10 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Dodgers. So he's in the top 5 to top 15 just about in every category offensively. And as far as average, I don't really know where he sits there. I could look at it, but I don't want to take too much time because this episode is already long as it is. But an MVP, he does have a shot. If he continues his play, he's probably going to get 30 home runs and drive in at least 80 to 90 RBIs. But yeah, and then the last but not least, I have Luis Arias in here. Do I think he's going to win? No, but I do believe that he deserves to be in this conversation. He was playing on the Miami Marlins, who were absolute dog shit. That's what they were. It sucks. I feel like they should just start trading everybody. Jake Berger, send him off. Jesus Luzardo, send him off. Like they just don't. Josh Bell, maybe keep him because I don't really know what his demand is. I know he's a switch hitter, he can hit bombs, but Luis Arias, 325 batting average, leads the NL in the National League in hits with 91. And I'm gonna check AL because I don't really think anybody has. Yeah, he leads the entire league in hits with 91. Bobby Witt has 87, so he's right. Them two guys are right there with hits, but I feel like he also leads the entire league in average as well. Yeah, 325, 324, 325. I think he's playing right now, so MLB.com is going to adjust and change the numbers. But Luis Arias, hitting machine. His OPS is going to be just above league average just because he doesn't slug at all. He's got 1 home run this year, 17 RBIs. He's not going to be a guy that's going to drive in a lot of guys. He's going to be the guy that gets on. He has 40 runs, and as far as runs in the entire league, he is in the top 20. A lot of guys are tied, so there's few are tied for 10th, 7th, so on. But as far as the National League is concerned, he is in the basically top 10. He's tied for 9th with Freeman and others, but he's going to be a guy that gets on base and they're going to be able to drive him in. OPS plus, 116 is doing fantastic. But yeah, I think that his skill bat to ball is highly, highly underrated, and he is my favorite second baseman. He plays first for first and second for the Padres, with Cronenworth sharing time, and with Bogarts at second. I don't know if Machado's injured or not. I think he might be. I don't know if he's playing right now, but he did have an injury a few days ago, maybe last week. But they need him in the lineup if they want to go play in the postseason. He's a guy that's going to fight every at bat. And as far as strikeouts, the dude just does not strike out. He does not strike out at all, and apparently, MLB has guys that play maybe 2 or 3 games and doesn't, whatever. So when you watch him hit, he doesn't want to strike out. He'll take a bloop hit if he wants to. But yeah, I mean, I feel like he should be in the conversation with MVP, just because if you take him last year, if you took him off the Marlins, he should have been MVP last year, but he doesn't hit any home runs. He doesn't do anything power wise. He started getting a powerful swing last year toward the end of the year. He ended up getting 10 home runs, which is his career high, even though he's not really he's not really a power hitter. He ended up winning the batting title with 354. But at one point he was hitting 390, almost 400, and he hit 385 for like 30 games or so. Just insane, what he was able to do. But he's been one of the best hitters in the entire league. And he might take the batting title from in the National League this year. But yeah, those are my MVP races. As far as Rookie of the Year, like I mentioned it earlier, we're going to save that for next time, because I would like to get into the movie that's coming out this weekend. Or let me see Friday going into the weekend. Inside Out 2 is coming out this weekend, June 14th. The first one, I feel like was revolutionary for Disney. The cast, Amy Poehler, who at times can be funny. Sometimes it depends on what movie she's doing, but she is Joy. Bill Hader as Fear. Bill Hader is an accomplished actor. Riley's is played by Caitlin Diaz. Very not well known. Mindy Kaling's Disgust, Louis Black, Anger, Phyllis Smith, who is Phyllis from The Office. It was revolutionary, and I say that because it was different. It wasn't a traditional Disney Pixar movie. This was a movie based on emotions, and how it was very, very relatable to everybody, not just for kids. Even though it's for a kids movie. Inside Out, the protagonist Riley is going through life with emotions, and it was, in my opinion, it might be the best movie in the 2010s from Pixar. I know there's a lot of movies that did come out in that time, but I mean, Metacritic gave this movie a 94, Rotten Tomatoes 98, and IMDb an 8.1. So, and now it's just like Disney might not, like, who knows what Disney's going to do with this second one. If they just follow a template that they used for the first one, it's going to be great. But if they do this propaganda BS of whatever they're going to do, because the past several years with some of these Disney movies, I don't care what you are, but they try to put in some inclusive stuff for everybody. And I understand, have everybody come in. It's Disney. It's it's for kids, you know, but at times, if your film is about art, movies are about, can they connect with you? And yes, I understand trying to include everybody to make everybody feel something, but at times you can't do that. You have to figure out what made the first movie successful and go basically on that, but don't put too much in there to where it just explodes and it's not what it was. But hopefully they just follow the template, because in this movie we get more new emotions. Riley looks like she's about in high school or going into middle school or something. She's getting newer friends. As far as what the trailer looks like, she's playing hockey, and looks like they have people. They have newer people for some of these emotions. Bill Hader is not in this movie. Tony Hale, who is famous for, I'm just going to there we go. Tony Hale right here, he's basically famous for Arrested Development and some of his sitcom shows. We have a new actress for Riley. We have Inui, which I guess is kind of emo. I don't really know what that word means. Envy is this person, don't really know who she is. Anxiety, Maya Hawke, obviously Ethan Hawke's daughter, and Uma Thurman's daughter. You know, she's got a good acting portfolio and a good record underneath. You know, she's hasn't really had a lot of projects, but you know, she comes from great acting family for sure. Lewis, anger, joy, and sadness all have the same. Different actors for Disgust, but it's going to be, I'm excited for this movie. The trailer looked phenomenal. And hopefully, like I said, they just stick to the formula of what made the first one great. I don't know what they're expecting. I do know that it's probably going to be a good box office hit this weekend, especially with it being summer. It's a Disney movie. It's for kids, and even adults might want to go see this movie too. Disney fans like me are probably going to go see this movie. I'm going to hopefully I can see it in theaters and do a review on it on a Monday, or just if I don't do it on a Monday, I'll include this movie in. But it's supposed to be 100 minutes long, and you know, I'm excited for it, but I'm also nervous because of what Disney's doing in their movies and what they're trying to do, and especially, you know, I don't even know if I'm going to watch The Acolyte. I'll talk about that in the next episode as well. But yeah, Inside Out 2, go see it. I hope it's good. Hopefully you don't waste your money seeing this movie. I hope I don't waste my money seeing this movie either, because I'm excited to see this. But thank you guys for listening. Like, subscribe, comment down below. If you agree with any of what I said about the NBA Finals or baseball related takes, write a comment down there. And then if you agree with Inside Out, and if you want to give me another filmatics perspective of why this movie could be bad or be good, write a comment down below, and I'll respond hopefully next week. Hopefully write down in the comments as well what you would like me to talk about: sports, movie, video game, TV show, whatever. Hopefully I can make an episode tomorrow, because The Boys come out with season 4 on Thursday. I'm excited. Hopefully I'll be able to make an episode tomorrow and post it on Thursday or Wednesday night. But fingers crossed I'm able to do that. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Y'all have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.